Fulayo of Bossy Cosmetics on that Black History Month chat series. I am so excited about our live discussion today with founder of 54 Thrones. Oh yeah! I got all dressed up for her too. Woo! Yeah. Doing my little dance. A little Afro beat. So if you have been following, let me lower the volume a little bit. All month of February, which is Black History Month, even though all 12 months of the year are Black History Month, I am interviewing some really amazing Black women who are entrepreneurs and talking to them about their hustle, about their lives. Hello! And I'm enjoying this series so far. I have spoken to Lovey Gwehi, who is an African design-inspired fashionista, and that was an amazing conversation. Hope you can hear me over the Afrobeats. Second conversation, I'm just waiting for Christine to join. The second conversation was with Jackie Harrington of People of Color Nails. That was beautiful. And then, let me lower the volume. The third conversation was with Fulayo who owns Shea Radiance, and we were talking about clean beauty. And so this is a great segue into my discussion today with Christine Tegbe. Can't wait to meet her. I haven't met her myself, but I have been following her brand with so much enthusiasm and excitement. Looks like she's joined, but I'm waiting for her to join, to request to go live with me. Please go ahead and do that, Christine. I'm just here chatting. Christine is founder and CEO of 54 Thrones, and her brand is unbelievable. I have had so much fun following her, particularly on her 54 Weeks of Beauty. But I want to talk about her as a person, her why, her philosophy around clean beauty and how she does it. She's really magical in the way she tells stories with her brand. She says, I'm here, but I don't know how to request. Hi, Felicia. Hi, Deanne. I think you need to click request to join. Let me see if I can add you. I don't think I can add you. No. You've got to... Okay, go live with... Here. Let's try this. Christine, it says you need to upgrade your app. So I don't know if you want to go in through 54 Thrones, but I just tried to add you and it said you need to upgrade your app. So anyway, hi, Igwe is here. I was just talking about the series we've done so far in February, Black History Month, and Igwe is one of the amazing founders that I spoke to earlier in the month. And that was just so soulful. So if you have time, please go to my IG section and catch up on that discussion. Igwehi's amazing. And her fashion brand, Love Igwehi, is based here in California, in Oakland. And oh, you love my look? I put this together for my discussion with Christine today. And because she's got this 54 Weeks of African Beauty, I decided to pull out some more Ankara. And then I even got Ashoki for my hat. So... she says, I'm back. Can you invite me up? Sure. Let's see. It says you must upgrade your app in order to join. Why is it saying that? This hasn't happened before. I just tried to... Can you join yourself? If you can't join, you may have to... I don't know. I know you've done IG Live, so I don't know why it's not working. Deanne says, yes, love your look and music. Party at Bossy. My son is here with me. Kaita, why don't you come say hi while we set up? I've got my little sidekick with me while we're trying to get Christine up. Alright, come say hi. What's your name? Why are you shy? Why aren't you dancing with mommy? Looks like we're having some technical... Oh, there we go, view request. All right, you can sit now. Looks like it's working. Waiting for 54 thrones. Yes! All right, let me turn off the
I'm
music.
here.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I am fantastic. I don't know if you could see the earlier part. I was having a little bit of a boogie down session over here.
I was
I
there
was
at this party.
Yes, yes. So welcome,
Thank
Christine. I was saying before you came that, every month is Black History Month, but we
you.
celebrate it officially in the
Yes,
month of February. And it's really been such an honor and a pleasure for me to celebrate it on Instagram with a bunch of amazing Black women.
absolutely.
And I really, I've been following you and your brand for such a long time, and I'm a huge fan on the sidelines.
Thank you.
And I mean, before I even get into the congratulations and all the accolades that you have just done for just Black clean beauty brands, it's just exciting to welcome you to this discussion. And we're going to talk about. So I was doing a lot of like checking up, not in a stalker way, but like just reading about. You were a consultant before you started 54 Thrones, and I guess you've been doing it for about 5 years, and you've just done so beautifully. So before we get into talking about the beauty rituals and just,
Yes,
how you bring storytelling in such a powerful way, can you just introduce yourself and your why of 54 Thrones?
absolutely. I'm Christina Funke Tegbe, founder of 54 Thrones. I'm happy to be here. My why? Well, I kind of saw that something was missing, and I decided to find a creative way to fill it. And at the same time, I think a lot of people who are transitioning maybe from working, 9 to 5, and they're wanting to start something, or they're wanting to start a side hustle or become a full-fledged entrepreneur. It's important to see if there is a hole, if there is if there is a problem that you can solve. And it may not be a problem to everyone, but if it's a problem to you, it probably is a problem to a certain segment of people also. And so I think all of those things play when I decided for Thrones.
So that's okay. So I love it. So your why is there was a problem, and it didn't matter if there was a problem to 10 billion people. There was a problem for you, and you figured, you know what? Somebody says, I love your braids, and that's true. Your braids look gorgeous. But I mean, look at your skin glowing, the whole thing, man. Love it, love it, love it.
I
So
have a
what
wearing designer. This is Andrea Iyama. I had to come correct.
Oh, I love it. I love Andrea Iyama. I actually dressed up for you too. I forget who made this, but this is a Nigerian designer. I had my Yoruba Ashoke hat on. I was
Yes.
like, I got to do my own little one throne of beauty. So tell us. It says learning the whys. Good point. Absolutely. I'm all about, in all of the discussions I've had this month with the women, it's just been so beautiful and passionate to hear why Black women are doing what they're doing, and it's always this is a very personal problem that we're going for. So what was your problem that you wanted to solve that you felt so passionate about?
So I have and I felt this way for a long time because what prompted me to start my brand, and I didn't know that this was prompting me, but when I was a little girl, my aunt in Nigeria would always send us shea butter, black soap, cocoa butter. She would find whoever was like, she didn't put it in the mail. Whoever was traveling here would pack little tubs of shea butter to drop off to my house or mail to our house from America. And at the time, I didn't know the significance and why she was doing it, right? Until I got much older, because I was like, okay, why is our lotion coming from Africa? Like,
Why does it have to travel that far?
yeah, like, and so as I got older and I realized like the lack of pure, like unrefined African plant botanicals that you could find, right? And you might be able to find them, but could you find them in an aesthetically, pleasing way with nice packaging, nice branding, the full circle? And you might be able to find the ingredients in other brands, but were the people who actually were making these ingredients celebrated, right? Were they
Mhm.
acknowledged? And I didn't see that happening. And so I felt like I could create a solution that was very authentic. Um, and that's how I came up with 54 Thrones. So that was the problem that I saw, and I wanted to do something to change it. And I wanted to do something that was real, and it was real to me. And I wanted to be as involved as I could in the entire.
Wow. So, okay. So now we're going to talk about fast forward a little bit. So your power, it's like your superpower is storytelling. I'm sure you have lots of superpowers, but I'm just saying, as a random woman sitting in California, follow you on Instagram, go through your website. You know, we're gonna talk a little bit about how Oprah came to be and Sephora and all that stuff, right? Because I'm like, that is like, I mean, just like, whoa. But just let's peel it all back to what you created, right? Because it's the stuff you created that has resulted in all of these blessings that have come your way. What has been your philosophy around storytelling, around packaging, around that just beautiful, luxurious African aesthetic? Talk to us about that, because I think you've done it so well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, well, I think it's like, I never considered myself a storyteller. Even today, I wouldn't even use that word to describe me. But listening to you, it's like, yeah, that's exactly what I have been doing. But it started back when I was a child. I used to write books. I used to write books. I used to write poetry. I was published. As a kid, my parents made.
Wow.
And what I liked about writing was that when you're writing, and particularly writing fiction, you can come up with anything.
Yeah.
I was a little kid in Austin, like at my house, like, and I could come up with a whole nother world. And so I guess the art of storytelling, before I even call it that, was always was creative. Always. And I love the power of like writing or creating or following through on your ideas, because there was no like ceiling. You can come up anything you can come up with, write it down.
Wow.
Real. And
Wow.
when I decided to start the brand, and I didn't start out like this. That's what some people might think. I started 54 Thrones in 2016, but I had tried and had ideas of lots of other businesses, right?
Yeah.
And when I started 54 Thrones, it looked like this.
I like that is a very important point, because one of the IG lives I did was this woman, People of Color Beauty, and she talked about step by step by step how her first bottle was very different. She could only afford a logo that looked like this,
Yeah.
and she could only do this, and she kind of just went her way. So please talk about that, because I think it's important for people to just not evaluate you at a point in time, to know there's a journey.
It was a journey. And when I started, of course, my bottles or my package probably looked like almost anyone's or any brand's, right? I still had stories inside of me. I knew what I wanted to tell, but it's a process of out of your own way, and also realizing that you might have this idea. Is it going to resonate with anyone else? Are you creating something that's memorable? How are you different from anybody else? Because you might have the best ingredients, the best everything, but are you going to be noticed? If your products were sitting on the shelf, at a Sephora, at a Nordstrom, at a wherever, would anyone notice them, right? Because that's what the piece is, getting noticed. Is someone going to pick up your story?
Absolutely.
A lot of iteration. And
were you insecure about that?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I had no problem with starting a business, putting myself out there.
Okay.
I always know that anyone who has negative things to say, they probably don't have the guts to start anything. So people don't matter to me. Like anyone that has, it's like whatever, because it's a big risk to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You have to be obsessed with your brand. You have to be your number one cheerleader. You have to be posting, and people are going to get annoyed and whatever. Like I was my number one cheerleader. I believed in what I was doing, and nobody else did, but I did. So there
was another lady, Igwehi, who said sometimes she posts and it's like in the beginning she would post and it's like crickets. Anybody see my post?
But you have to continue. You're exercising. Like you can't get strong unless you keep putting stuff out there and keep testing things, right? So, I always knew the stories that I wanted to tell. I knew that I wanted to create something very authentic, but I also wanted to create something that could resonate with anyone, right? I wanted to be like a world-class brand. We're working towards that, to where anybody can say, oh, I want to try this, and be able to like stand with other like world-class brands. So I think that identifying what story you're trying to tell and really staying true to that, and understand that in the beginning you're gonna get crickets. Like, that's part of it. Like, everyone's not going to be an instant fan, but it's just a matter of, timing, and if you decide to quit, right? Because 2 years ago, no one knew who 54 Thrones was. A year ago, some people didn't. But if I would have quit, that would have been it. I wouldn't be here talking to you. So I think like testing and really like keeping your eye on the prize.
You are preaching. Keep going.
Not being afraid to pivot. Because I had ideas and I put them out there and they didn't work. They weren't working. And so I had to.
What was one of the ideas?
Well, when I first started Thrones, we would, I would travel to different African countries, and I would just sell one pure ingredient in a bottle. And that can work. Some people loved it. But I realized that people wanted formulations, and they wanted a deeper story with the ingredients. I would sell like baobab oil in a bottle, and some people loved it, but I noticed that it wasn't hooking them as much, and so when you can tell a story through your ingredients, that is where I had to say, you know what, I wanted it to be like this, but I have to pick it because I can see it's not working, right?
It's not resonating.
It wasn't resonating like I wanted. So that's when I had to transition. I had to pivot. I couldn't just stay doing something that wasn't working.
Got it. So, okay, we've talked, we're on this tale of storytelling, and I want us to continue because I have been following. So I'm originally Nigerian.
Yes.
And one of my things, so I went to high school in Nigeria and moved to the US to go to college. And I remember people would say to me like, oh my God, you're from Nigeria. I have a cousin who did Peace Corps in Congo. Her name is Felicia. Do you know her? No, Africa is not one country. It is not a street. It's a whole bunch of people, like bazillions of different cultures and languages. Yeah. And so I love this sort of, the 54 thrones from what I read, is representative of the 54 countries of Africa. Did I get that right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And so what you've also done is, elevated that to thrones, which I think, the royal, regal sort of imagination. And now you've taken that one step further. What I've seen lately is your 54 weeks of beauty. So talk to us, because that's another storytelling journey. Yes. Through product and storytelling, and just bring it all together. So please teach us.
Yes. So just like your point, right? It's not Africa's not right? There's 54 individual countries that make up Africa. The United States could fit inside 3 or 4 times over, right? And so the name, number one, when hear it, some people don't know.
We love you too. Somebody said, I love you all of you. Sorry, go on.
So when you do realize what 54 Thrones stands for, right? So we wanted to take it a step further, and I was like, you know what? I want to highlight each country individually in a meaningful way, and go beyond beauty, go beyond, go beyond the butters and the beautiful products that we make. I wanted to go beyond that, and I want to show the faces. I want to show the traditions, show the rituals, show the art, show the culture, show the terrain, right? All of Africa is not jungle, and all of Africa is not desert. I want to show the terrain like visually and give it its whole week to shine, and find people that are doing amazing things on the continent. Amazing things in each country. Even today, we spoke with a Sudanese art director.
I saw that.
She's amazing, and she's doing so much in such a difficult time in her country, right? So we want to find the beauty in that, right? So 54 weeks of African beauty. There's definitely beauty where we talk about the different African beauty rituals throughout the continent. But we also want to show the people and really tie everything together through the food and the culture and the things that you didn't know. not have known that Sudan has more than Egypt. So we want
Wow.
to highlight those things and make it educational, make it something that you'll remember, because I think that there's been a miseducation of Africa.
Hugely, huge.
And, you know, there's dangers in one story, like Amanda says. And so we really
Yes.
break those down and just share what we can about the beauty of Africa.
So let me ask you this other question. Another one of our interviews we did with this amazing lady named Fulayo of Shea Radiance.
Oh, I love her.
Yes, yes. So I interviewed her 2 days ago, and that was a fantastic conversation. And one of the things that she said that I hadn't really thought about, when she sources her shea, unrefined shea butter in northern Nigeria. And she said a lot of the women when she first started would say things like, don't be one of those people who comes and takes pictures with us and then never places an order, like posts up on Instagram, and then we never hear from you again. And I thought that was really interesting. So I guess, a lot of these women know that many foreigners or even locals are doing what I call poverty porn, right? Which is like posting to show everybody's poor. And so I love what you've done. So I was watching, you had 2 different videos on your site. There was one about, I think it was East African Shea and West African Shea. And I love the way you're kind of showing this is how we started and this is where we are. Can you talk about some of your relationships, on the continent, and how did they receive you in the beginning? Was it similarly distrustful, or I'd love to hear about that.
I have had some of the most incredible, memorable times in Africa. When I first started, I was not able to place big, huge orders. I wasn't able to order containers of shea, right? But what I did have is, and that's why I think it's so important for entrepreneurs. It's so important when you're starting out to lean into that naivete, because you will fall into the most beautiful serendipitous situations that you won't even realize until later on. So, I was like, I quit my job and I said, well, I want to learn more about my Nigerian heritage. I'm going to Nigeria. Like, I'm going to travel. I'm going to cash out 401k. This is what I'm going to do. And it's like, I didn't understand shipping and importing and all that kind of stuff. But I would find out, where cooperatives were, where they were making these ingredients. I would first try to email, as you know, in Africa, email is not going to get you very far.
That's not the way to go.
So I would be like, I'm coming, I'm here, where are y'all? And I have always been welcome with open arms. And like I said, a lot of people won't make that trek to the villages in northern Nigeria, to get there. But when people see how far you've come, sometimes it's like, okay, right? And I knew that at the time I wasn't going to be able to place big, huge orders, but I would always show love. I would always, make them know they were appreciated in my way. And then I would always I would have suitcases. I would pack suitcases and suitcases, like empty ones, so that I could just pack as much as I could and bring. That's why I started with my first orders. It was me going there, literally putting shea butter in my suitcase, right? And I tell them just trust me, just trust me. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna buy as much as I can from you. Like, trust me, give me some time. And I can't now. I want to learn now. I want to come directly to you and purchase from you. And so I wasn't met with that distrust.
Okay.
Some of my suppliers have invited me to their celebrations at their cooperatives. Like, I've sat in Morocco, and just watched these ceremonies. Like, I've had the most amazing experiences. I haven't been met with distrust, but if I was, I can understand why that is warranted, because like you said, poverty porn is a real thing, and it is a, right?
Yeah.
It has to do with your intentions.
Yes.
And it is just like, people can read energy.
Yeah.
Walk in a place, people can read your energy. They may not even speak the same language as you, but they can read your energy.
Yeah. 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 So am I allowed to ask, of course, excluding Nigeria, what's your favorite African country is from visits, or does that feel like you're not allowed to say?
You know what? Like the worst person when it comes to favorites because I like feel like it's okay to have like 10 favorites of anything. Like don't
That's
ask.
fine. Do you have 6 favorite countries? As far as it's not 54 favorites.
um, I'm Nigerian, but I love Ghana.
I hear you.
I
Although
love
you may get some hate mail.
Ghana too. Like I love Ghana. I love the vibe. I love the kind of the calmness, kind of the, I love Ghana. I also have been to Mauritius. Mauritius is a beautiful place. Ooh. I love Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah, in 2019, and the people, and again, like the people from country to country, you will see the differences.
Looks okay. I can
Able
hear you.
to, I was able to like see like okay, I could notice like the different bone structure in some versus like Nigerians and the shape of their faces, the way they walk. So I've always loved like studying groups of people, and so like I love going to different countries, but I definitely loved Kenya. I love Ghana, Nigeria. I love Mauritius. Oh yeah, every place I go to, like I find something to fall in love with.
Okay. So I think I can't remember which of your videos I was watching. I watched a few of them so that I can kind of feel like I can get to know at least your public persona better. But there was this notion of celebration, rituals in celebrations, and a lot of that joy. Can you talk to us about why that's important, right? So, like, if I have dry skin, my elbows are ashy. I just want to put something to cure the ash. Why is it important to you to tell me the 4 ingredients, I'm making that number up, that go into the thing? Yes, it does release, so it's efficacious. It relieves my ashiness. But why is it important for me to know that, you learned about this through a wedding in Morocco or Tanzania? Like, why? Tell me about that, because I just think it's really interesting.
I feel like I have gone so far in terms of like traveling around Africa, and I have a lot. I have a long way to go, but I have gone far. I have sat with elders who have sat and held my hand and told me why shea butter is good, right? How they started shea butter. I talked to grandmothers and they told me how their grandmother used whatever product, ingredient them, right? And so I feel like a gatekeeper in a way of these ingredients. And so to you, it might just be, oh, I'm knowing, yes, but there is a whole story. There is a whole village in northern Ghana behind these little pretty tubes that I want you to know. I want you to feel what I felt when I was there, right? Watching them, like learning about each step. And so to me, that's why the story is important. Because to me, it's more than just, a beauty product. It's more than just a beauty routine. Like there's generations of families who have made their living off of this product, and we're going to celebrate them. Whether you
Yeah.
like it, we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate them when you read the names of the queens and goddesses that our products are after. You're going to pronounce them right, and
Yes.
we're going to celebrate them. Like that's
Woo!
what Thrones, and that's what I want people to be excited about, to learn about the different 54 weeks of African beauty, to learn about the goddesses that our products are named and inspired after. Because like I said, it's been a huge miseducation. We know who Aphrodite and Zeus is. We learned about that, but you didn't learn about Monona and Kahina and Aja. You didn't learn that, and so we're going to teach you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. I put on my Instagram, my personal Instagram the other day about, I was telling an investor one day that, I wanted to have a business called Aishatu, And she was like, don't you think that's too black? And somebody said to me, first of all, what? That's the most insulting thing anyone can say. But the second thing was like, I bet you they said that to Barack, and I bet you they said that to Kamala Harris. But you will know their names now.
That's right.
And so you will learn my name. But it was just interesting. So I'm loving hearing this from you. So I want to fangirl a bit before we keep on this. Tell me how it went down with Oprah. I mean, boom.
Wow. Oprah has been like my idol since I was a little girl. I used to write Oprah letters.
Oprah's been everybody's idol, man.
How
did you get her to know who you were? I was like, Lord.
I used to have like show ideas and I would write them to Oprah. Aww. And wrote me back. She actually wrote me back and signed it. I was like 9 years old. But Oprah has always, I mean, just like most little black girls growing up, you know, that was one of the positive figures that we saw on TV. And so I always grew up with Oprah. You know, like that's who we saw. And my family.
I consider her my mentor, and I don't even know who I am.
Like that's Oprah. That's our auntie.
Yes.
So,
Auntie O.
Exactly. And we were contacted by her team. You know, they had shown some interest in our products. And when you get the email, you're just like, what?
I love it. Did you dance? Tell the truth. Did you dance?
I feel me like losing it. Because we actually have Oprah's Best Face Oil for our Nejma Balancing Night Oil, which is a wonderful oil for combination skin, oily skin. So we had that product, and I believe in like September or August or September, we won that award. And I was just dancing when I found that out. And then we got contacted again, like, knock, knock, knock. So them beauty butters you got.
Listen, when I saw the list, I was screaming for you guys.
When we saw that, it was just like heart, you know, it was just, it's such a feeling because you put so, as an entrepreneur, and no matter what you're doing, you put so much of yourself into it. And so just to be recognized by, first off, to be recognized by anyone, but to be recognized by someone who you have looked up to for so long, it's like, you can't, it's like the meter of happiness is just like bust through like the top of the you know, thermometer. And
I can imagine.
It was amazing, the whole thing.
So, okay, so that's fantastic. Amazing. Now let's talk about the news that dropped yesterday or day before yesterday.
Yeah.
So tell us, I mean, you guys are one of 8 brands that will be in the Sephora Accelerate program, and then you will be on Sephora shelves, right? Tell us. So are you currently in any retail, by the way?
Yes. So we're currently in major retail. We're currently in Nordstrom.
Okay.
So yeah, we're in several Nordstrom stores throughout the States. You know, we sell DTC, of course. And then we're also in a few other smaller shops throughout the U.S. also.
Okay.
So yeah, so we were accepted into Sephora's Accelerate program in 2021. There are 7 other incredible.
I'm interviewing Alicia next week or in 2 weeks.
You have not looked into their, you know, Instagrams, their websites, their brands. They're amazing. 7 others, super talented.
Yeah.
And we're all so excited. We're going to be as part of Sephora Accelerate, and we'll be launching in Sephora. And so that is a beauty brand founder's dream.
Dream, girl. Dream. So, I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
So okay. So you've only been doing this for 5 years. I mean, that's not a long time. I mean, so much success, which, you know, I can't remember which of the IG lives I spoke about this with somebody else, but I was talking about how sometimes I feel the responsibility, and I want to know if you feel this as well as a Black woman in the beauty industry, you know, not that you do the work to inspire, but just knowing that there are so many other people watching you, and that your success is like for many people who don't even know you. And it's like we're vested now. We want Christine to succeed. We want her to launch in Sephora. We want that to be successful, because then it means other Black women will have that opportunity. Do you feel that at all, or no?
I do feel that. Actually, Christina.
Oh, Christina. Sorry.
That's okay. I do feel that. And I think it's like, it's one of those things that you just, like, I naturally feel. I think I've always naturally felt like that. I've always naturally felt like anything, you know, whether it be like me seeing another Black woman, you know, when I was working, get a promotion or get a good job or, you know, whatever, I always felt like, yes, I already knew we can do it, but this reinforces it even more. Right. And so I've always kind of felt that I carry that on my back, and I have no problem carrying that because so many other Black women have carried it before me. Yeah. Right. And so I think like seeing, and that's why, you know, people have to be very careful when they use broad terms like always and never, because if one Black woman can do it, then it's been done. We've been on the moon. You know, like we've gone.
Yes.
Like we could do it. Right. And so.
Yeah.
Seeing those examples have always been really important to me. And I do feel like, and I know that if me, you know, me sitting in my room for the past, you know, 5 years, doodling and thinking of ideas can get this far, then anyone else can. Any other Black woman can.
Yeah. But I mean, I think all of us are special in a different way.
Yes.
And so, yes, of course, any other Black woman can do that and more, but I don't want to lose the point of how Christina herself is magical and has done this. And I want to kind of, before we go back to 54 Weeks of African Beauty and how I think you can continue to tell that story, even on a bigger platform now at Sephora, I want to kind of quickly go back, like, what was it about you as a young girl that created this drive and this confidence to like write letters to Oprah, to like do that stuff? What was that?
It was my Nigerian dad and my Creole mama. It was them that really encouraged this in my siblings and I, you know, that, you know, and I think Nigerian parents always say, if someone in your class got an A and you did they have two heads?
I know, right?
So my parents did an incredible job. My extended family members, their prayers, their thoughts, like their reassurances to us. So my mom, and like I said, like leaning into that naivete to where it's like, you know, you want to start a beauty brand, you don't go to Africa and get the ingredients. I didn't know that, but that's what I do. So it's like, who was going to stop me? Who was going to tell me that I'm not supposed to do that? Right? I can buy a flight. I can get on the there and go to Ghana and go like, so no one was ever going to tell me no. I didn't like being told no as a kid. I was a mischievous child. I was very persuasive. I was very creative. My parents just let my imagination just run, you know, and so I was writing books, and my mom, they were like, I want to get published. So they helped me get published, right?
Oh,
nice. It was like, write Oprah. They're like, here's that.
Oh, nice.
You can't write Oprah. They're not gonna listen to you. No, like my parents didn't tell us that. And my dad would always tell me when I was finishing college and I started to apply to jobs. And sometimes the job is, you got to have this much experience. And I say, Dad, they say I have 5 years experience. And my dad would say, Christina, do not screen yourself out. Let them screen you out, if anything, but don't screen yourself out. So basically, if you don't try, you'll never know.
I know. It's like you can't win the lottery unless you buy the ticket.
Unless you buy the ticket. And so my parents, they didn't foster limiting beliefs in us at all. It was like, go for it. You could do it. Anything. You could do it. They were always so supportive. And so I was like, I'll tell you a funny story that I haven't told a lot of people this, but when I was a little girl, and I have a vivid memory of my childhood, it was amazing, but I remember going to church with my parents, And I was sit right next to my parents, and I was like a little 5-year-old girl. You know, in church, there would be portions where you would clap. And so I was a little girl, and one day I was clapping, and I was like, my claps are louder than everyone in this whole church. I was like, I'm a little girl, like I must have like something magical. Like, how am I have the loudest claps? So I just thought I was like super special and I had these superpowers. And so
You knew you were a unicorn from day
I
one.
always thought that I would be like successful in anything I tried, because I was like, I'm a little girl and I can clap louder than everybody.
I love that.
Myself of anything that I wanted to do, I convinced myself it would work. I always with positive self-talk to myself.
I never love that.
And
of
course,
that.
if you're here clapping, your hands are closer to your ears, so you're gonna sound louder. But I didn't put that together as a little 5-year-old kid, and so throughout my life, I just convinced myself I could do anything, and that's what I did.
I love that story.
It's naive, you know, you could say that, but it worked. I just convinced myself that I was unstoppable and I was going to keep going. Even if I got it, I was going to keep going. I was going to keep going.
Wow, that's amazing. So have you found in your 5-year journey as an entrepreneur, have you found that being a Black woman is at a disadvantage, an advantage, or doesn't matter?
Well, I think it definitely matters. I think it definitely.
Sorry, 1 second. Kaito? Gotta be quiet. Sorry, my son's under the table listening.
I think it definitely matters. Now, I think if it's an advantage or a disadvantage, it's a matter of personal perception. And so I think that also could be relative to whatever situation you're going into, right? Timing. I hate to say it, but timing. I was a Black-owned brand, you know, in existence when George Floyd was murdered, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of the success that you're seeing is because I had good timing, because George Floyd was in a sense a martyr to us, be able to bring in this flood of opportunities for us.
Yeah.
Just let that.
It's a contentious thing. I mean, I've talked about that as well a lot, that as a Black-owned brand, you've gotten, as you said, flood of opportunities on the back. It's almost like he was crucified.
Yeah, he was a martyr.
He was a martyr for us. And so, anyway, it's a tough thing to think about.
Absolutely, it is, and it's layered. But I can't go without like acknowledging that, like, because my brand had been around, right? But I wasn't on Oprah, you know. Like I had. But when that happened, it just, you know, the game changed for everyone. I think there was a time where.
But you were ready. You were ready.
And I had done the work.
You'd done the work. Because that packaging didn't come together as George Floyd died. That storytelling didn't come together. You had it ready. So you were ready, and you left time for serendipity. Sorry, I don't mean to speak your words, but let's be clear. You were ready.
You're spot on. And that's true. And I think that, you know, we have to do the work, right? We have to do the work. We have to do more than pray also. You have to do the work, put the pen to the paper, so that when these opportunities come, you are ready. You're there, you're ready, you're visible, and your hands are open, you know, for people to you know, to have for seize these opportunities, better said. So I forgot what the question.
No, I was just asking you, do you think it's been beneficial being a Black woman or disadvantageous? That's really it.
I think that, you know, because this was not my only business. And so in some of my other businesses, there was a time where I felt that I could not let my customers know that it was Black owned.
Ha! We're going to talk about that.
That was a totally different business, but I saw that as not a disadvantage, but I thought that customers would, pass us over, found out the owner was a Black woman, right? Today that I might act different, you know, if that was to happen, but there was a time where I say, you know, I didn't want my customers to know that. Now, once I had built up momentum and had, you know, a good stream of like success going with that business, I did. I was a Black woman. I was our local TV station. People knew at that point. But I felt when I just started, I felt like I couldn't show that. Now, 54 Thrones is completely different, a completely different niche, right? I would say, like, to myself, I have to see it as an advantage because I can't change it and I wouldn't want. And I think that the way that you carry yourself initially, the way you walk in a room, you have to have power in that to turn whatever disadvantages, misconceptions that people might have about you, you flip those on your head, on their head. And so it's typical, but I think as starting certain, the matter of playing the game, right? And so sometimes we have to do that in order to solidify ourselves and legitimize ourselves. But we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
It was part of, code switching, playing a game. It's all wrapped up in a ball of, discussion. But I see it as an advantage because it's me and it's gotten me this far. And I was raised to be proud of who I was.
Fantastic. I love that because it's like a testimony in a way. And I think I talked about that on one of my own other IG lives in that. So I run a cosmetics business. And when I first started, I'm a Black woman as well. And people would say to me, oh, is your makeup just for Black women? Is it just for Black women? And I don't know if you I don't know, do you experience that with Body Butters? But I know our fashion company, when I spoke to her, she had that as well, where, people who weren't Black were like, is this appropriation to do this? And I would always say for lipsticks, like, I'm wearing fuchsia lipstick. If you like fuchsia lipstick, what does the face of the Blackness have to do with it? Yeah. But there was this unconscious bias or conscious, whichever, that because the CEO is Black, she can only make products for Black people. She can only inspire other Black people. Have you experienced that with 54 Thrones?
I have not experienced that to a large extent. I have that question to us before, but it hasn't been something that's been overwhelmingly like a majority of the kind of feedback that I get.
Okay.
But I have heard, my counterparts do get those kind of questions. And I have a feeling that it's rooted in the fact that there was a point in time in American history where we were not allowed, right, to partake in things that white people were allowed to go to.
Yeah, there was no crossover.
We couldn't go to the same schools. We couldn't drink from their water fountain. So what did we do? We created HBCUs. So I don't know if it's like a subconscious thing to them that when we start something, they're not included, right? It's all because everything else was shut off to y'all. I think that's part of it. But
I really think it's something that I don't know how we address it over time, but it is something I have definitely faced it over a period of time. And it's interesting now, we've been in business for almost 2 years and less so. I mean, I would say a lot of our customers are not Black. But in the beginning, I know, and even still now it's less so, but in the beginning, I know it came up all the time. And I've spoken to other, Black-owned Black business owners, and they've said the same thing. And I really think that, a conversation is necessary. And I really hope that, I think your brand might be different because it is focused on Africa, right? And so what are you excited about Sephora? And this will be the last conversation, or at least getting into that type of retail. And then we'll talk a little bit more about, the 54 weeks of beauty and where you're going with the journey.
I'm excited about the whole process. I'm excited about the learning because Sephora Accelerate program. So we're actually learning throughout this. We're not just launching. And I appreciate that Sephora has decided to make their program, their Accelerate program, something that is providing us tangible resources and support. So it's not just, okay, you're in Sephora, figure it out. No, they're actually walking us through the things that we need to know, especially for some of us who haven't actually launched our brands yet. We have our concept, they're getting ready to launch. So the Sephora team is really walking us through what we need to know, making sure that we're crossing our T's, dotting our I's, and that we're understanding the Sephora system before we launch, right?
Awesome.
And that is what I love and I'm excited about being part of this program.
Awesome. So what's excluding the not mass, but huge distribution you're about to get into, what's next for you? I know that, over the medium term, You are focused on still telling the stories. Where's Christina going? Where's the journey?
Work. Need to continue building brand awareness, continue listening to our customers and taking feedback seriously, right? Continue improving our offering, improving our whole 360 customer experience. Really diving deeper into, like I said, the education portion in terms of the beauty ritual, but also what our ingredients do, right? What they have been doing for African women for centuries, and what they can do with helping your skin and building your ritual. So that's me. I'm really laser focused on that. Having fun, enjoying African beauty, but at the same time, we're digging in deep and really focusing in on what we're doing with 54 Thrones.
Awesome. If anybody, by the way, we're wrapping up. So if anybody has any questions, please drop the questions. I've been seeing a lot of feedback, and a lot of people have been cheering you on, and a lot of really, somebody said you're breaking in and out, but I think you're okay now.
Okay.
I don't know if this is your mom. I'm so proud of you, baby. Somebody says Christina going nowhere but up, up, up. I agree with that. That is very clear. Do you see yourself as a leader? And what's that responsibility?
I am a leader. I've always seen myself as a leader. But I think if you do see yourself as a leader, you also have to understand that, are you a leader? No one's behind you. What direction are you going? Right? And so those are some things that I do think about legacy. I think about, what am I building and who am I building it for? Those are all things that I think about in everything that I do. I think that the leaders, they do the small things right, the little things right. And it can even be the tiniest of things.
No shortcuts.
Like, I think it's important to ask yourself things like, if you're walking somewhere and you see a piece of trash on your floor, do you pick it up and put it in the trash, or do you keep going? Those little details of your life are reflective of what type of leader you are, right? And so I'm focusing on doing the small things right, so that I can inspire the team to do the same, right? Because if we get the small details right, and the big things will be regimented to us.
Yeah. How big is your team?
So I have some amazing people. I don't know if they're in here right now, but I have Tiffany, who is our brand assistant. We have Shea, who's our fulfillment manager. Chanel, who's our wholesale coordinator. We have Crystal, who is our wholesale manager, and we have Glass, who's our customer service manager. So
awesome.
6 people we have.
And where are you guys based?
We're based in Houston.
Okay, Houston. And the whole team is in Houston?
So we have people remote, right?
Okay, yeah.
But our headquarters are in Houston, our office.
Fantastic, Christina. This has been such a pleasure. I've really enjoyed when I was thinking about the women that I wanted to interview for this series and the topics I wanted to interview. I am really big on storytelling. It's something I want to learn. It's something I love to just sort of steep myself in. And as you know, I followed your brand for a while and your story. And so you were like one of the most important people that I wanted to get this opportunity to just talk to you about the very elegant way that you use storytelling to create a brand, right? And to take your customer on the journey. So you've got a fan over here, as well as many others, clearly. And thank you. I think you're a bit unclear.
Sorry, guys. It's really storming where I am.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here.
So I will then let you go. But thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you, and thank you, Bossy Lipstick team. I was excited when we got the message, and I'm so thankful you've had me on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Stay outside of that storm.
Yes.
And wishing you all the best of luck with, you know, Sephora and growing your business. And let's just stay in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was so much fun. I had so much fun. I'm going to spend a few more minutes jamming to my Afro beats. Thank you to everybody who came. We got a little bit of a late start, but we got going. And as you can see, I hope you can tell why I wanted to talk to Christina. She was and is amazing. If you don't know anything about 54 Thrones, please go check it out. Beautiful site, beautiful products, just a great story. And yeah, I think she's just an awesome woman to be leading her business, and I'm super supportive of what she's doing. And yeah, so I'm really happy that she did this, and thank you for coming. Bye. I'm gonna keep dancing. Ciao. Jordan, thank you for doing this. Oh, thank you so much for coming. Bye.